Hello, good afternoon, good evening friends of the Jose Manuel H Garage channel. Tonight I'm going to make a video on how to repair a car window. In this case, it's going to be my Mercedes-Benz VITO van, but it's common to almost all cars. The procedure is very similar to when your window breaks. In other words, you press the button and sometimes you can hear the motor, sometimes you can't hear the motor and the window doesn't go up or down, or it suddenly goes down suddenly, or, well, in any case, the window doesn't work. This works for any window, okay? This one, we're going to do something a bit more complicated for the drivers and co-pilots windows because they usually have a few more buttons, but for any of the 4 car windows, it's a very similar process. In 90-something cases, the motor doesn't break, as many people think. The motor does, which is the most expensive. The motor doesn't usually break. What usually breaks is part of the mechanism. The mechanism has some iron parts, it has a kind of coupling. We'll see some of them now, made of plastic. They're usually made of iron, and a cable. The vast majority of the time, either the cable has broken or the cable has come off one of these rollers that I mentioned. They're plastic couplings, they're a kind of rollers, and they usually come off these rollers because the roller has worn out, the roller has broken, or the cable has broken. So in the vast majority of cases, just buying the cable, which is the cheapest of all, the cable always comes with these rollers, would be enough. You would have to remove the rollers from the old window structure and put them in the new one and replace the broken cable with the new one. There are people who want to work a little less, and so what they buy is also a little more expensive, but it's not that much more expensive. The complete structure, that is, the 2 bars with the cables already installed and everything in place to install a kit, is a little more expensive. If the cables are worth 10 euros or 12 euros, the other one is worth 25 euros or 30 euros, but of course, in the store they charge you around 200 euros or 300 euros for something like that, so the savings are huge. It usually takes between 1 and 2 hours of labor to do it, it doesn't take more. So, if you don't want to get into too much trouble, the best thing to do is buy the complete structure. Now I'll tell you what the complete structure is. Oscar or any other car parts website usually has it for almost all cars. And on eBay, in addition to having the structure, the kit, they only have the cables, which is much cheaper. I usually just buy the cables because once you get the hang of it, assembling and disassembling, and for that assembly and disassembly that takes you like 15 or 20 minutes more, you save 20 euros, okay? But as I said, if you don't get it the first time or something, maybe the first thing you should do, if you have to repair a window, is buy the structure that costs 20 euros, 25 euros or something like that, more or less 30 euros depending on the car, and then in the future just buy the cable. Well, then the first thing to do, since I have to buy the cable and it takes like 5 or 6 days to come, what I can't do is leave the window down, okay? Because I want to take the van out onto the street. Right now I have it inside the plot, but I want to raise it up and lower it onto the street. And with the window open, I run the risk of my car being stolen or whatever. So, the first step is to leave the window up and fixed, which is what I'm going to tell you how to do, so that you can use the car, but you simply can't raise and lower the window, okay? And the next step is when we get the material, we can replace it and fix it, okay? So, logically, the procedure we were going to do to leave the window up is now common. Both to leave the window up and to repair it, okay? Which consists of removing the door trim where the window is broken, okay? Normally, the trim here on the Mercedes VITO is very easy. Do you see? Here it has 3 screws that go here, 1, 2 and 3. This is common in almost all cars. They are usually screws that go here or there. Normally, they are screws that come here, and these must be removed in such a way that when we remove the screws we can pull the trim over here. And once we've pulled from here, the rest are usually staples that go through here. Clap, clap, clap. And then you have to pull very gently so as not to break the staples over here. It will sound clack, clack, clack on this side and this side, clack, clack, clack. In this way, we will have all this released. And finally, we will have to pull the molding upwards because it is attached here at the top. We will have to pull the molding upwards to remove it. There are other cars that also have the molding attached to the chassis by a screw here, and normally you can see that it has another small molding here that with a screwdriver that comes through here, a small plate, or here, you pull the molding and you can see the screw that is there. You unscrew the screw and it would be released from the center. In this model, I think I remember that no, It's all on the side. We don't have the handle part, but most cars have a screw here in the handle, 1 or 2 screws, okay? And then when you take it out, you have to take it out carefully because of course, we have the window regulator connections, in this case, the mirror connections and the speaker connections, okay? So you take it out a little carefully, bend it this way and you can see the different connections and take out the connectors. So let's take it out step by step. I'm going to remove the 3 screws first and we'll continue doing what I told you to do. Look, I've already removed the 3 screws and once the screws are removed, you pull here a little and then, because in this one, it comes out very easily, okay? And then by pulling a little, look how it's come out now. Do you see? The entire molding has come out on one side and the other side, so I just have to take it out from up here. Do you see? I'm going to pull it up, see? And I've already taken it out. And so here we have, let's see if you can see them. Sorry for the light, but that's the light I have. Here I have the connections for the window regulators, the connections for. No, in this case the speaker connection goes there. There's nothing else to do for now, and especially the connection I have here for. Let's see if you can see it without making shadows that all the shadows do. The connection for the handle, okay? The door release handle. So, what I have left to do is remove this connection here, this little clamp, okay? This clamp here which is for the windows and the connection that almost all cars usually have the same. Let's see if I can show it. See? So it goes, it pulls up and we've already removed it from its seat. Let's see if you can see it by the shadows and the lights. We've removed this part here from its seat and now we just have to pull the little hook. Look up. Do you see? I have it free now. I have the entire door free now, except for this clamp that I'm going to pull. Okay, I've pulled it and now I have the door completely free. In other cars there are more connections, right? But anyway, what you have to do is remove the hook for the door opening and the connections of whatever you have. Okay? Come on, once we have the door open, normally the next step, I have already repaired this, so I have that step half done. Oh, no, because then I put silicone back on. Look, then here all this has a kind of molding protection that is what protects from the cold and it is normally made with silicone. Do you see? It is made with silicone on the door frame. Well, with a cutter, you have to go through here with a cutter and you have to remove this protection. There are times when it has plastic, okay? Because what we need to do is access the mechanism that's inside there. It's right inside this protection, okay? So I insist, with a cutter I'm going to remove this protection here and I'm going to access the interior. Here we have the connection box and all you have to do is disconnect it, take photos or record a video and then put it back as it was. Okay? Here on the Vito, look, we have this blue connection, this black one here, the white one here, which I think I remember you have to remove all of them to be able to access. This white one here, but it's not that they're easy, it's just that each one has its own place and there's nothing else. And then here comes the speaker connection that's here. Okay, come on, I'm going to remove this protection here. In the case of the crime, I've already removed this protection and you can see here we can now access the window. These are the cables I mentioned. Do you see? This here is the cable that comes through here. There's another cable over here. It's a crossover cable and this thing you see here in gray is the structure on the left and here on the right is the structure on the right. Okay? There are 2 bars, one here, the other here, the window and the cables. Okay? Do you see that these cables are attached to the engine by these 3 nuts here? So, sometimes you have to remove the 3 screws of the cable and sometimes you have to remove the entire engine. In this case, I'm going to remove the entire engine because it may not be necessary to remove any of the cables from the structure. I have to take everything out to see how the structure is. Okay? To take the entire engine out, all I have to do is remove this connector here and remove these 3 screws. Then what I'm going to do is take out this bar here that gives me access to the structure. And this black bar here is removed in the event of a crime. This is not usually the case in most cars, right? I'm talking about the habit. Now, take it out. Look, excuse me, my lights went out. Take it out here. Do you see that it has this protection here? Well, then we remove this protection here by hand, okay? And now we can take it out here. Let's see if you can see it. See? We can now take this black one out here, okay? This black bar. The black bar is attached to the door by these 2 screws here and 2 more screws on this side. Excuse me, I don't have any lights at night and all the light I have. Well, the first thing we have to do now is remove these 4 screws, okay? To take this bar out sideways here. Look. And I've removed the 2 screws here and the 2 screws here, which now releases it. Let's see. See? This iron here is now free and we have to take it out as I told you. I need both hands here, okay? With a little care, pull it and take it out. Okay, now it's not coming out because it's rubbing against the structure here. So what I'm going to do is unscrew the 4 screws on the structure, which are, look, this one here and that one there. Let's see if you can see it. Not that one. And that one there on the left bar and the right bar. We have one down here and another one will be there, okay? And the other one there. Well, that's how we remove the 4 bars. We have to remove those 4 screws, okay? I'm going to remove them. Look, once I've removed the screws, I've removed the 4, you see. These little bars that are on the structure give way and now I can take this little thing out here, okay? Through the little hole. So that's it. Let's take it out. See? It comes out without any problem. Well, I have to close the door a little so it comes out. Come on. I'll finish taking it out and continue with the video. Look, the bar has shape. Do you see? This is the way. This here is what goes in, and this is what would be more to the left. Okay? Well, on the bar you can see that you can clearly see the window and the structure and cables. Now what we have to do is take it out. We have to put the window up. Okay, I'll explain it now, okay? Yes. Let's see. What we're going to do right now is release the window from its supports. See? The window is supported by this support here and this support there and it's held in place by this screw and that screw. You don't have to take them out completely. You just have to loosen them in such a way that the window is free and you can now grab it with your hands here. We lift it up all the way with our hands and there we apply a kind of adhesive. Now I'm going to apply a strip of adhesive so it doesn't fall. It stays firmly attached at the top. Okay, that's the next thing we're going to do. Loosen this one here and loosen this one here. Look, what I've done is raise the window a little bit by hand, okay? And now with these strips of duct tape here I've attached it so that it doesn't go down and so now I can manipulate it from here. I can remove its supports without the window falling off and risking it breaking. Okay, and now I'll tell you how we can make it secure, by simply putting a piece of wood and a stick there that holds it from that edge there to the bottom of the window and in that way we leave it fixed. But first we're going to remove the structure before we fix it, okay? Look, now I've removed this metal structure from this hole and that hole there, in such a way that it's free and it's no longer holding the window. The window is held by these strips here on this side, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Remove this support so I can remove it without any problems. Do you see? Here, the window is no longer attached to this support. This is already bent here and I have this ready to be removed. Look, then the door handle cable comes through here. See? It's not a big problem. So, now we have to remove these 2 bars. Look, let's see. If I move this bar like this, you see, I have it free, I can remove it. We have to see how it goes anyway. Let's see if I can show it to you. See? Look, this is the bar. This is the part up there that came here. This here is the part down here that came here, okay? To put it in, you would put it in like this. Okay, it would go up at the top and this down there, okay? And look how the cable comes in. This cable comes through here, such and such, such and such. Let's see if I can show it. okay? And it comes there to the bottom of that other structure, and you can see how the cable is all coming out. The problem I've had, you see, this cable is half broken in half. It's not completely broken, but it's simply come out of its anchors. These are the anchors I'm telling you about. You see, now I have to see if any are broken or not. I have to take them out, okay? Well, then what I have to do is take the cables out. To take these cables out, it's very important to see how they go, okay? This one here below comes through here. You see? The one below comes through here. Ta-ta-ta-ta. Here to what is the engine, and this one comes through here. Ta-ta-ta-ta. And it comes right there below this bar on the left, okay? The one on the left bar, the one on top, comes through there below, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. To the engine, and that's it. Okay, this would be the whole thing that is the top part. It comes from here above, bang, all the way down. The bottom one goes to the right side of the engine, and the top one goes click 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 to the left side of the engine. Those are all the cables. Okay, so the only thing left to do is to remove the engine. Not to remove this part of the engine because otherwise it will come unwound, and right now we don't need to do that, but to remove the engine from its housing, and it was through this screw, this screw, this screw, and this connector, okay? So I'm going to remove these 3 little nuts and we'll remove the engine. It's a shame about the light because everything is very shadowy, but as I said, it's nighttime and I don't have any more light. Well, I've already removed the 3 screws and now you can see the engine coming out. See? There's no more, and I have to remove this clamp, and that's it. Okay, well, I'm going to remove the clamp. This clamp can be removed. Ah, look, here I have the pusher. Okay, and on the other side, I suppose it might be there. Well, by pulling those 2 inwards, it will come out upwards. Then, by pulling those 2 inwards, it comes out upwards and I have it free. Okay, now I just have to take it out. Look, I take this out here like this and this one here like this, and now I have the one I have in my left hand. It's the support on the left. We're going to take it there so you can see how it goes. Okay, look, here you can clearly see what I was telling you. This is as if I had put the window on, okay? This is the one on the left side. This is the one on the right side. It was supported, as you have seen, the window by this screw and by that screw up there. And on the right by that screw. And that screw. Okay? Then we had the crossbar that we took out, which had 2 screws here, 2 screws here. And then the window is supported. Do you see? It is supported on this. On one side it is supported and then it closes once you support it. It closes with that screw, and on this other side. And this is what raises and lowers the window, okay? This is what makes the window go up and down and up and down. Do you see? Do you see how it goes up and how it goes down? Pushed by these cables. Okay, so what happened here is that this cable came out of its place. This cable here goes in its place. Here, okay, it goes in here, you know. And it goes all the way here, and for whatever reason it came out. It usually comes out because this white thing breaks. So what you have to buy is the white thing. Okay, I'm going to check it to see exactly what's broken, and that's it. So, in this case, by buying just the cable kit, the cables come with these little things, right? Look, not even these little things. This little thing, you don't need to take it out of here. It comes with this one. Yes, okay. You should buy this white one here, this white thing, which is what usually breaks, and this other white thing. For me, I think this white thing is broken. You shouldn't even buy the cables, okay? I'm going to check. Now what I've done is move this out, flush, like this, out to get the white part out of its track. Do you see that it's placed here in its track? This one hasn't been removed. Do you see how it goes? It goes like this. Okay, this goes out like this and goes in like this. And as you can see, this is broken. In the case of this car, what's broken is this white thing. The only thing I have to change is this white thing that's broken. Okay, the cables are fine, everything is fine, and the only thing broken is that white thing. Well, I have to buy this white thing and then put it back together. Well, I think up to here you can clearly see how to disassemble the window and how to tell what's broken. Okay, I'm telling you that the engine normally never breaks here, simply by taking this out from here. If you want, well, I'm going to take it out to see how it is. If the cables have gotten tangled inside or not, I'm going to take it out. Okay. That's how it is. I'm going to take it out by unscrewing these 3 screws to see if I can see something strange about the cables. Anyway, if you take this out and then put the connector here in the van and press the up and down button, you'll see if the engine moves or not. Okay, if the engine moves and such, it means that the engine is fine and there's no problem. I'm telling you that normally the engine isn't what breaks, although that's what everyone thinks is the engine. What breaks, I insist, is either the cables or, normally, this is what breaks on Vitos, and if it's not these parts here, and I insist, they sell the whole kit, that is, the 2 irons with this, they sell the whole kit. You don't have to do anything strange. When you buy it, you just have to remove these 3 screws and, without letting the cable come out, carefully put the 3 screws back in and you can assemble it. Okay, I've removed the 3 screws. Now I'm going to take this out of the housing, okay? It's a little stiff. I think the cable is a little stuck there. Well, I'll take it out and show it to you. Yes, indeed. Look here. The cable got tangled. It came out of the track, and that's what caused it. When it came out of the track, it got stuck here, and when I pulled hard on it, it broke that. Okay, so you have to buy the cables because this cable is already frayed. Okay, I'm going to take this roller out so you can see how it works. Well, you see, the cable is damaged there and this is a little damaged, so you have to buy the set of cables that comes with this roller and with these 2 elements, okay? Roller, the 2 elements and the set of cables. You see, one is more or less fine. Well, this one is about to break here. Okay. And the other one was broken here. So that's it, you have to buy everything. Okay. You see, this is the kind of damage that usually happens. Before, if you force it too much, I didn't force it. The moment I saw that it wasn't working well, I stopped. Because if you keep forcing it more, what you'll do is break the cable completely. Well, then, order the cable. This goes here. This one is useful. This one is useful. Okay, this goes here. This is how I'm going to put the screws so I don't lose them. And that's it. These bars are also useful. And that's it. Look, the temporary solution is a small tube or a stick. I've put this small tube, which is made of PVC, any PVC pipe, which on one side is hooking me, you see, there in this iron support, and on the other side is holding the lower part of the window. Let's see if you can see it. Do you see? The lower part of the window is being held there in such a way that it is impossible for the window to go down. Okay, what happened is that I'm too short. I'm 1 finger short. I need something like this, a stick like this and a finger longer so that it fits well. So that we can work perfectly with the van, with the car or with whatever. If you want, you can put tape there so that it doesn't move and tape over there so that it doesn't move, okay? To make sure that this doesn't move, okay? Or you can put a stick here and another stick, a stick there too, so that it has 2 points of support for the window and that way you can work until the replacement arrives. You just can't lower the window. But the car can work perfectly well with the window completely closed and it's also impossible for it to fall or go down. Okay, well, I'm going to make one of these sticks a little longer. Do you see? That's how I did it. I've also put a little slot in it so that it fits better into the window and doesn't slip like it does with the iron. But I need it to be a finger's length longer. Okay, I'm going to make one, a finger's length longer. I think I have a slightly thicker one and I'm going to try to do it with that. Okay? And now order the replacement cables on eBay, which I think cost about 20 euros so I can remember the last time it happened to me. And that's it, the story is fixed when they arrive. Okay, look at this PVC pipe that I had. Well, I measured this one and made it a little bit longer, okay? I made it a little bit longer on this one that I had, and I cut these slits here with this little saw so that they help me support it on one side on the iron and on the other side on the window. I'm going to see if it fits me like this. Well, you see, I've done it right. There it is, perfect. And this way, well, there's nothing left here. You can see just a little bit more of the window. It could be made a little bit longer, but hey, I don't mind if it stays like this, okay? Nothing. I'm going to remove these strips now, and I'm going to put them there a little bit so that it doesn't move. Although it's not necessary because it's too wide so that it doesn't move, and I've already fixed the window temporarily until I get the replacement. To make sure that the pole doesn't move, just in case, I've put tape there and tape up there. So I make sure that the pole, you see, this pole doesn't move in any way. And so I have it done correctly. Okay, I've raised it a little bit more and it's completely in place. If you're not sure because you want the pole to be able to move, well, you can put another piece of tape here so that even if it looks ugly or whatever, it stays there protecting it from moving. This doesn't move. Okay, come on, ready. Well, let's put all those elements back in place again, and while the structure arrives.